Title: Wife Regrets, Suggesting an Open Marriage to Justify Her Infidelity. Hey everyone. Today we have a compelling story about a wife who pushed for an open marriage but now deeply regrets it. Hi there. I never imagined I'd find myself in this situation, reaching out to strangers online for advice, but here we are. My wife and I have been together for a decade, married for 8 years. We met in college and were each other's first and only partners. I thought this made our relationship uniquely special, but apparently that was just my perspective. Some time ago, my wife started a new job. At first, she struggled to fit in, being naturally reserved. I encouraged her to socialize, and she soon made friends with a group of women, some of whom were single, divorced, or dating but not married. Initially, I was happy for her. However, she began going out for drinks, attending parties, and participating in various activities her friends suggested. I grew concerned about her behavior changes and tried to discuss it with her, but I didn't want to seem controlling. Her new routine started to impact our relationship in the bedroom. She had never been the type to initiate intimacy, but with her constant outings, she was often too tired or simply not in the mood. Around this time, a new manager joined her company, and she and her friends seemed to take a liking to him. She would casually mention him at first, but it escalated to praising how he handled issues that weren't even work-related. When I questioned her growing interest in this man, she dismissed my concerns. She even started asking if I regretted not having more experience with other women. I assured her that she was all I ever needed. I thought I saw a fleeting sadness in her eyes, but she quickly changed the topic. Soon, she began talking about open marriages as a way to spice things up in our marriage. I was shocked because this wasn't like her at all. She had never been that sexually liberal. At first, I refused and asked if this was related to the new manager, which she denied, saying she just felt like she had missed out, but didn't want to lose me, so this was a safer option. I felt she was playing with fire, but reluctantly and naively, I agreed. We set some rules, mainly that neither of us would bring anyone else into our home. Over the next year, my wife went on dates and had one-night stands. It didn't surprise me that she ended up in some kind of relationship with the manager I had initially been concerned about. Meanwhile, I went on a few dates myself but didn't have any one-night stands because it just felt wrong to me. She would ask if I was okay, but she never really altered her behavior. I started to feel that the love I had for her, that pure, innocent love unique to marriage, was gone, and it was tearing me apart inside. Eventually, I went on a date with an incredible woman who had recently moved from South Korea. Our conversation flowed effortlessly. She had a quick wit and a smile that could make anyone forget their worries. This led to more dates, and soon we became intimate. I had never experienced anything like it before. I never realized a woman could make me feel so wanted and desired. At first, my wife thought it was amusing, but as months went by, she began questioning my relationship with this woman. I reminded her that this was her idea and that she herself was in a relationship with the manager I had been worried about. She fell silent, appearing to want to say something, but holding back. She started coming home earlier to surprise me with dinner, cleaning the house more, and even visiting my workplace to bring lunch. She also began initiating intimacy, which was unlike her. If it hadn't been for the open marriage, which I am also to blame for agreeing to, all of this would have made me ecstatic. But I barely responded to her attempts at intimacy, and when I did, it was just to get it over with. Something in me had changed toward her, and she seemed to sense it too. I asked her what prompted this change, what was different. She replied that she wanted to show me she loved me and was happy with me. I laughed, not intending to, and asked about her friends, her manager lover, or her one-night stands. She didn't respond and went to bed crying. The next day, she was waiting for me when I got home. She told me she wanted to close our marriage and admitted the whole experience was a mistake. She said she regretted everything and wanted us to focus on each other again. I asked her to be honest about what had inspired all of this, and sure enough, it was her friends who had planted the idea. They had spoken about their many sexual experiences, and the new manager had surprisingly encouraged that lifestyle, which evolved into an emotional affair that only became physical after we opened the marriage. She likened it to driving drunk in a speeding car, exhilarating but dangerous. Now, She realized that she didn't need any comparison and that what we had was truly unique and special. But she felt like she had destroyed our marriage and any future we might have had together. I told her I might never see her as my wife again, and she broke down in tears. I held her as she cried herself to sleep on the couch. Since then, she has left her job, cut off contact with her friends and the manager, and told me she would do anything to make it up to me. However, I haven't ended things with my lover. She makes me feel alive, like I can take on the world, something my wife hasn't made me feel in a long time. The truth is, I don't know what to do. I want to get that special feeling back if possible, but my lover gave me hope when I was at my lowest. We have our first marriage counseling session in a few hours, and I'm unsure how it will go. The therapist seemed nice and unbiased during our initial meeting. My wife took the opportunity to lay everything out, confessing that her friends had made her wonder if she had missed her chance by committing to her first boyfriend and never experiencing anything else. The therapist pointed out that this can be detrimental to a marriage, as my wife seemed to agree. She admitted she felt guilty and didn't do anything physical until one of her divorced friends suggested an open marriage as a loophole, convincing her it could strengthen us. But as time went on, she realized the adventure was hollow, and she could see the pain in my eyes. She hoped I would gradually accept the situation and be okay with it, but when my lover became a constant in my life, she started to panic. She realized how absurd the whole idea was and begged her friends to help her win me back, but they told her she had made her bed. She realized then how toxic they were and has since tried to do whatever she can to save our marriage. I didn't share much with the counselor, but I did mention my lover. The counselor said no resolution could be reached while she was still in the picture and suggested we book another appointment. It feels like the counselor wants to make us one of her success stories, but I'm skeptical. 8:32. After a lot of reflection and consideration, I moved into an apartment my brother owns at a very low price. I've learned some unsettling things about my wife's behavior and her manager. During our second counseling session, I pushed for some answers. When asked if anything had happened before our marriage opened, my wife eventually admitted that they had touched themselves in front of each other, but she insisted it wasn't physical cheating. This revelation shocked me. She began to cry uncontrollably, apologizing profusely. She explained that when she began pulling away from the group, her manager's behavior changed, and she overheard him discussing her in a demeaning way with another colleague. She realized she was nothing more than a fling to him, which led to her emotional collapse. After all that, I told her I needed time to process everything. She broke down at the thought of us separating, but I insisted we take some time apart. Since then, I've seen a divorce lawyer on my brother's advice. While I'm not ready to fight for this marriage, I also haven't decided to end it. My wife has realized the weight of her choices and would do anything to undo them, but life doesn't work like that. She might find a way to rebuild herself as a partner, but it likely won't be with me because she already destroyed the life we had. What I know for certain is that she will always regret what she did and remember me, which is more than many people get from their unfaithful partners. Good luck to you all, and thank you for listening.